about immigration people, immigrant people staying in Portugal, and the experience these people have in Portugal. And we are going to see the first. Okay?
With us.
Okay.
One of the most important, actually, you can do something else. Right, one of the most, right, one of the most important things is the language. Obviously, if you cannot communicate, then they will feel isolated, and also you can't integrate with them if you can't communicate with them. So that, for us, was the priority. Now, how you do that, there's so many different ways. For the adults, you could have like evening classes. For the kids, you could have sort of special lessons to integrate them. But obviously, I say special lessons, you then have to integrate them with the rest of the schools and things like that. Right, then we said about social integration. Because obviously we want them to feel part of the community. Not that they set up communities of their own and you have a bit here and a bit there. So social integration we felt is very important. And again, you can start with the children, integrating them in games, in puzzles, with others within the schools and things like that. Does anyone else want to say anything about it? Oh, and organising things like clubs, you know, again, integrating them, not just having a club for them, not a club for local, but trying to get them mixed, to do things together, because that way they will learn about each other.
And respect other people's ideas, values, etc.
Also, we felt like the health issues and the hospitals and stuff like that, there's a way both sides need to be educated. Okay, we can't expect immigrants to come in and have to pay for medicines, have to pay for operations and stuff like that. However, there's also the side that the country itself, the people within the country get frustrated when they have to pay for something and someone else comes in and gets it for free.
Yeah.
So there's a learning curve on both sides, or if not a learning curve, things need to change. Okay, to make it more accessible and more of a level playing field. Right, work life and work skills. We talked about someone coming into our country who might come with do the same sort of job, but has totally different skills. For example, they could come from somewhere where their work is very labour intensive. They use their hands and shovels and things like that. So to make a pavement, they would have like 6 people, all with spades, shoveling and mixing the water and stuff like that. When they come to another country, they might find it's all done with machines. So it's the same job, it's still similar skills, but it's a totally different way of doing it. So even though they have skills when they come into a country, their skills need to be adapted. And when you bring in machinery, obviously you've got more health and safety issues. It's like loose clothing getting stuck in machines and stuff like that, which they're just not used to. Okay. Education, again, we're coming back to the language thing. Education is very difficult because you've got to be able to communicate with them, but also they've got to mingle with people from the local area. So you have to adapt your education to allow them some time to learn sort of things that the local people already know, but also to bring them to forget the past. What we mean by letting go is that this openness, yes, not to become blinkered, but to open your mind up that there are different things that you can accept.
Maybe.
Sometimes the history
So you
make
don't pay
a
for others'
yeah,
mistakes.
yes. You can, if you have a bad history about this country or these people, you can't change it so quickly. You have to open your mind. It's a new generation, and everything's changed.
Yeah, I would suggest you to add just something like be open to create a future or to write a new future, something like that. Because letting go the past is not to ignore it, but to acknowledge that you have the opportunity to rewrite your story from there.
Yes, yes.
Don't forget it, but you rewrite and remove.
Don't stay stuck to it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
After each group, like with the previous task, when we work with young people, you have, of course, first identify their needs and their problems, and plus accepting. Be acceptable. Yes, of course. But we have to consider that we are acceptives, to accept their needs. That there is a lot of problems sometimes, I mean, that when you are a teacher or a youth worker, you do it, I don't know, because you have to, in a way that you are not recognized as your own need to need help. We have this type of, for example, teachers. Maybe you go to school, you study, and you're a teacher, but you're not for it. You're not the right one to be a teacher. So and it happens in your case, I think, in Turkey, that some youth workers weren't the good ones, and it was bad for. Of course, you recognize it and you say, "Thank you very much. You can do I don't know what." But we thought that that is something to be considered about. Yes, that is our main strength, that we understand children. We know that they are vulnerable.
Put myself in the other person.
Empathy.
Yes, as a team worker, we know how to do that, and that's plus, to be plus. We support their differences because we know they are all opportunities. Yes, that's that. About that, of course, we wrote it down. We support their differences because we know they are opportunities. And to the work on a cultural day, on a sport day, everything, on workshops, we embrace them and lift them up with their differences. That's a plus to be a youth worker.
We did it on studying how do people feel segregated from the group. So we did a study on when a person moves into a country for the first time and they don't feel comfortable, how they act. So part of what we presented is part of our play, and Anna, she's going to be how we as social workers supposed to react when we see a problem, not join in and create the problem bigger. So one thing that we say, when someone moves to a country, they know no one, there's an issue with the language, they don't know the culture, and they feel like no one likes them. Maybe they look different, they talk different. Maybe the neighborhood maybe the people has money, they are poor, they cannot dress like the people, they cannot eat how they want. So they feel shy, they feel timid. And we say that we as a native from any country, when people move into our country, we should be able to welcome them in. But then we decide, okay, we don't want to be a part of them, so we push them away. And then they create their own community and everybody is divided. So John is saying, if you in your country, I know you, you know me, we're all comfortable. But then Anna is saying that we as social workers should go out and look for the people who comes into the country, and we know how they're going to react already. That is why we should be welcoming, have a welcome party, welcome to our neighborhood, welcome to our country. How can we assist you? How can we help you? But in most countries, medical you have to be paid for, education has to be paid for. And because you're a native, you get it for free. They who come into the country, maybe they are undocumented or they don't know how to go about to get what they want. They don't know what to do, so they get sick, their children don't go to school, they don't get a proper education, and it goes on and on and on. So we discuss how can we come up with ideas or solutions to get people involved. And later on in the play, we will do a presentation on how we come up with a way of get the shy person to integrate with us and to welcome them in as a family.
Basically, we sort of said that you have to be flexible. Yeah, you have to identify, and you have to be flexible and to sort of have ideas and to know
Different ways on how to find a solution for the problem.
for the problem. And it could be anything. Okay.
Very kind cover.
The hijab, the hijab.
Hijab, yeah. A couple of years ago, one of the ladies came to St Maarten and we told her she had to remove it to see her face. She said, no, nobody can look at my face.
Generally Iranian.
So we said, okay, it's your religion,